Well, France says it has proof that chemical weapons are being used in Syria. The so-called red line the United States warned would force it to take action. Now the Obama administration says it needs more information and may be wishing it could take back those bold words. I'm joined now by Otago University international relations expert Robert Patman. Robert, thanks for your time this morning.
Good morning, Simon.
Why would the Obama administration be dragging its feet?
I think there's no great enthusiasm in the United States or indeed in NATO for intervention in Syria. There are noises from politicians like John McCain, a Republican, who recently and secretly visited Syria to speak with the opposition there, who's arguing that America should do much more. But those voices are countered by the likes of Rand Paul from Mr. McCain's own party, which said that America must be very wary of stepping up any armed support for the opposition in Syria because those arms may well be transferred to groups which are within the opposition, which are Al-Qaeda affiliated, like, for example, al-Nusra. So that's a big worry that American armed support might find its way into hands of groups which are actually hostile to the United States.
OK. Has the Obama administration sort of painted itself, so to speak, into a corner with the red line statement?
I think it has, in a sense. What has been worrying for the Obama administration, instead of gaining momentum, the armed opposition have actually lost momentum. As we've just seen overnight, the rebels have now lost control of a key strategic stronghold, Qusair, near the Lebanese border. That victory for the Assad regime, by the way, owes itself to some extent to the tremendous and extensive international support they've been getting from Russia, but also from Hezbollah in neighbouring Lebanon. But certainly Mr. Obama will come under pressure to do more now, but he will do so within certain constraints, and the constraints are there's no great support in the United States for getting more involved in Syria. The tragedy of the situation, of course, is that the Obama administration did try to lead an international response through the United Nations, but of course that was blocked. The Security Council has been paralysed by Russia and China. And of course this casts into question whether the UN Security Council, as presently constituted, can seriously deal with problems like Syria, where something like 70,000 people or more have been killed in civil war in the last 2 years.
Are we seeing a situation where America is sort of reticent to get into a kind of proxy war because Russia is so involved in supplying arms? America wouldn't want to really escalate and we get a sort of a proxy war going on in Syria?
I don't think it's that may be a relatively minor concern. I think it's a bigger concern is that Syria is such a strategic area that the United States is nervous that the Obama administration believes that if the West became involved on the ground, it could play into the hands of, first of all, the Assad regime, which has always claimed that all opposition to it was externally generated. And secondly, Iran is a key player here. Iran and Hezbollah. In other words, America wouldn't want to do anything to inflate their presence in the Middle East region. The fear is putting Western troops into Syria could actually play into the hands of Assad and his supporters. Meantime, of course, Assad does seem to be getting the upper hand in the civil war. So there's going to be pressure. I think the United States will probably try and go back to the Security Council yet again to try to put public pressure on China and Russia to reduce its support for Assad, but there's little sign they will. OK, and just briefly, it started off as a civil war, but we've got the international players juggling on either side. Is the stability of the region really at risk? Is it going to spread? Oh, absolutely. This is not, when I said civil war, it's certainly an internal conflict with massive international ramifications. The outcome of the conflict in Syria will have big ramifications for Iran, also for Lebanon. Okay. And interestingly, sorry, yeah.
Oh, no, that's okay. Sorry, I'll just wrap it up there. Thank you very much for your time, Robert Patman.
Thank you. Cheers.